What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got issue 2 of the Spectacular Spider-Man. And the first issue of this brand new first ever ongoing team-up series with Peter Parker and Miles Morales proved to be a real fun time. Writer Greg Weisman, who also wrote on the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series, brings these two Spideys together in a real fun way, swinging through New York, performing acrobatics all over town. If you're a fan of either of these two heroes, then you are in for a treat with this series. And if you guys missed the first video on issue 1, then I'll place a card at the top of the screen right now for you. And I'll also place a link at the end of the video. But when we left off with the last issue, Peter and Miles, after a run-in with the Jackal, ended up finding a burned skeleton in the lab with Miles Warren. Also, unbeknownst to Miles, his buddy Cedric had responded to a very peculiar ad for a beta test. So if you guys are ready to find out what's going on with that charred body as well as this very sketchy new beta test being offered, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So when this issue kicks off, Detective Shari Sebens and Carly Cooper are overlooking the charred remains from issue number 1. And Shari is trying to, of course, find out more information about her John Doe. But Carly explains to her that she had to bring in Dr. Jane Foster for assistance with this one, because although it had initially appeared that he had been burned to death, it turns out that instead virtually every cell in his body exploded. The how and the why, though, they still don't know. Not yet, at least. And the same goes for an ID, since it's kind of hard to get dental work when every cell explodes. But outside, as Sherry heads out, she's met by Peter Parker's Spidey. And she grills him about discovering a dead body and not being around for an interview. But he's here now, so better late than never, right? But then he tells her that they should check for cloned cells in terms of the body. He was found in one of Miles Warren's labs, and cloning was always Miles' specialty. For all they know, the deceased guy might have spent years in a pod, or he could have been a brand new experiment. But either way, Shari's gonna need a word with Miles Warren if Spidey's able to find him, she says. Meanwhile, we see Ced again. Y'all remember Cedric, right? From issue 1? And remember when he had walked into that coffee shop and tried to spit a little game at the girl behind the counter? But she was dating the big guy from the shop, and they were mad in love. Well, looks like old Ced then went and had to pull her. Because now he and Shelly are sitting outside getting real close. But Ced tells her that he feels guilty. Kenny's one of his homeboys, but truth is, he's been in love with her since the first day of freshman year. But she tells him that it's okay. She told Kenny, and he's cool with it. He understands. You and I were meant to be together, she tells him. So of course y'all know he's feeling that, but I don't know, y'all. That feels a little bit too good to be true. Like, come on now. You already talked to Kenny and he was cool with it? Yeah, okay. But elsewhere in the sewers, there's a guy running his ass off and screaming, "Stay away and leave me alone." But just like in all the scary movies, he trips and he falls, and then some dark, creepy creature approaches him. And then days later, we pick up with Miles, and he's swinging through the city rushing because he's late for his weekly coffee meetup with Pete. But Pete's always late, so he can't complain. It's like his signature move, Miles thinks. But when he gets to the coffee shop, everybody's there, and they all greet him when he gets there. He's really made it to regular status. Shelly's got his drink ready for him. Big Kenny shouts him out. Everybody's there. It's popping in there today. But then Miles finds Pete and he sits down with him. It's nice having a regular crowd. A community, Miles says to Pete, before Parker drops a Cheers reference on him, which will definitely go over the head of the youngsters. But then Dr. Seymour Krebs walks in, who we also met in the last issue. He had been inventorying Miles Warren's lab. But when he comes in, everybody shouts his name just like they did with Miles. Apparently that was Peter's idea, who boasts to Miles about it. And they've got Seymour's order already prepared too, but he's got a different order today. He wants Darjeeling tea. That order interests Professor Warren because that was always his brother Miles's order. Which, interesting. I wonder if old Seymour could be a clone. But meanwhile, elsewhere we see Turk on the run from Daredevil. But then something we never see happens. When Turk turns around and he clocks Daredevil. I mean, he laid Daredevil the hell out. And then we don't get any more from him. So we kind of got something like the last issue where they showed us a sneak peek of something only to not show us anymore. So it's got to be building up to something bigger later. But sheesh, I don't think I ever seen Turk get Daredevil like that. But back at the coffee shop, now Cedric walks in and he gets a group greeting just like everybody else. But then he walks past Kenny and tries to give Shelly a kiss because, she did say Kenny was cool with it. But Shelly pulls back and wants nothing to do with Ced. And now Kenny is pissed because this time Ced's gone too far. But he tells Kenny that Shelly told him it was cool with Kenny. But Shelly denies it. She never said any such thing. And now Ced is out here looking bad, y'all. And he tells Shelly that if they're going to be a couple, she's got to be upfront about it. But she lets him know pretty assuredly that they are not a couple. And now Ced's got to deal with the big guy who takes him straight outside. But Miles knows Ced, and he can tell that something ain't quite right. Ced ain't usually like that. So Miles grabs Peter and makes him come with to follow and see what's going on with Ced. Then we pick back up with those two ladies from last issue that had professed their love for one another. And now they're enjoying this entire vacation together and seeing the sights. And then, once again, nothing. I swear, man, something crazy better be happening with these ladies soon. But then we go back to Cedric, and he looks like he's tired, and he's mumbling to himself that he can make this right. She'll remember. And Kenny, he'll be okay with it. And now even Peter can tell that something ain't quite right with this guy. As Ced walks into a back alley door talking about needing to get back to the Arcadium. So Peter and Miles decide to change clothes and go check out this super sketchy location. But when the two Spideys walk in, they're seen on the security cameras by someone who decides to flip a switch that diverts the Spideys down to the sewers instead of the Arcadium. And according to both Spideys, they definitely heard a ka-chunk. But when the Spideys get in the sewers, they're immediately met with that creature we saw earlier. And now we see it in full, and it's a big-ass rat man. He's called Vermin, Parker tells Miles. And Miles is like, well, why is he wearing the number 5? And as they get surrounded by more of them, Peter tells Miles that the original Vermin was cloned. And the clone was escaped into the sewers. And he just never got around to rounding them up. So now the two Spideys have a battle with these giant rat people down in the sewers trying to round them up. And I gotta say, y'all, I love seeing both these guys together in a series. They cracking jokes together and sharing some nice little teamwork. They work really good together. But after beating the crap out of all of these vermin, there was even a rat woman there. But after kicking all their asses, then Shift shows up, yelling for the Spideys to stop. Shift's been learning how to speak lately with the help of Miss Marvel. But he tells the Spideys that he's helping the vermin because the vermin are clones just like him. Vermin can be good, Shift says. Then we see the boy from earlier that had been in the sewers running from the vermin. But now he tells the Spideys that the rats look scary at first, but Shift has been teaching them to protect the people, even helping them find food and supplies. Then Miles makes sure to let Shift know that he's proud of the work he's doing here. But back at the coffee bean, a guy walks in and he and Kenny recognize each other. And although they're about to close, Kenny offers to make this guy a drink. But that's not why this guy Marv is here. He's looking for college students just like Kenny and Shelly to help the startup that he works for beta test their latest game. And at first, Kenny and Shelly are pretty skeptical about it. But then Marv tells them that they're paying triple minimum wage. And Kenny and Shelly ain't getting enough tips to make triple. So they decide to give it a shot, since they could use the money, especially if they want their own place, Shelly mentions. So now Marv is pleased by this, and he gives a real devilish grin, and then he tells the couple to finish closing up. Then the three of them can head right over to the Arcadium. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. So what did you guys think about this issue, as well as the series so far? I'm really enjoying it myself, but they're going to have to do something with those little sneak peeks they keep hitting us with. And what do y'all think this Arcadium is all about? And what do you think happened with Ced, with that whole Shelly situation? Do y'all think Shelly was playing him? Or do you think that maybe Shelly was a clone or something? Seems like this series is going big in the cloning right now with Miles Warren and the Vermin and Shift. It's kind of feeling like that's the theme here. But then maybe the Arcadium could be like some type of neural game or something where the game is being played, the players feel like it's really happening in their minds. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I want to hear all you guys' conspiracy theories about what y'all think is going on. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support the channel, then you could do so by stopping by the new Comics Icon store and picking up some brand new merch, including this background music heard here in this video. Or you guys can help by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership. And I'll make sure there's a link in the description to join, but with your membership, you'll gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly, where we could talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future and other comic book news. Plus, you'll get loyalty badges, member shoutouts, and more in these videos, and up to 20% off of Comics Icons merchandise from the store. And now we got new tiers to the memberships as well, starting at just 99 cents. Or you guys could donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of that, then you can also help out this channel's future tremendously by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.